What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jerome Jones, and it's another episode of the RPO College Football Podcast presented by Inside the Hashes. I'm Jerome Jones, as I already mentioned, and I got my guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
I am good. I am good. I am good. College football is going crazy right now. I think we had another good week, right? I we keep saying these weeks are kind of slow with some of these games, and we keep being surprised by some of these games, man. How will you feel about the overall week?
I think it was a good week. I think there was some upsets, some games where, as we were just talking about, like we're expecting teams to be played better football right now, and they're just not really doing it. So,
Yeah, there's one major team that me and Ray been talking about all off season, and they are disappointing, and we're gonna talk about it, right? But let's just get right into it. I mean,
you got it, man.
nothing else to say. We're gonna get right to our headliners. As you know, guys, we are a little late. We're a little late today, so I hope you still up. You still ready to watch us. We do apologize for the last 2 weeks. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. I put it on myself. But hey, man, we're here and we're gonna do this thing. So, let's get to our first topic, man. Georgia, are they vulnerable? Oh my goodness, what is going on the last 2 weeks, right? Um, so if you know the Georgia Bulldogs, man, they last week they were kind of struggling a little bit in the game, and then they kind of picked it up late in the game. This week they played Missouri, and Missouri was on their heels all game, and it looked like Missouri's about to beat them, right? I'm not gonna lie, and I was just like, oh no, there's no way Georgia's about to lose right now, and they did pull off the win. Um, Pulling up the score now.
20.
Um,
They won 26-22 over Missouri.
yeah, yeah. And Ray, we've been talking about Missouri, how bad they've been recently. Played up to their competition this time. What's your take on that game, Ray?
They did a decent job with running the ball and enough to keep Georgia off balance on defense a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Found some didn't score enough points. I mean, like they had some
Yeah,
drives that they didn't come out with point and get points out of them. It's a little disappointing for them with that. But again, like you said, they played fairly well. Georgia's offense is not consistent right now.
mm-hmm.
That's a big problem for them. But they still have talent there. We'll see what happens.
Right, and that's funny how we were talking about this because in the beginning of the season, they looked like they were unstoppable. Like that offense was just clicking on all cylinders. Um, you know, this week it just is totally opposite. I mean, they turned the ball over, fumbles, things like that. Missouri actually didn't do much on offense. A total of 294 yards, only 102 rushing yards combined. Their best player was 6 for 89 yards, so that's one player. Everybody else, Pete nine attempts for 37 yards. The other one, Cook was the quarterback, 4 for -11, and Lovett was 2 for 13. So they wasn't going crazy on the ground to actually keep the ball out of here. It was a lot of just turnovers and everything like that. At halftime, it was 16-6, and you're like, what is going on with this offense? They can't score for nothing. They turned it on in the fourth quarter, but um, is this a problem? Or are they really that vulnerable right now?
They're because of their offense not scoring a lot of points. I mean,
So
they don't have a consistent quarterback. I mean, I know Bennett looked really good last year at the end of the year, but he's not a good quarterback.
yeah,
Their run game is not doing any better than they did in this game. I mean, Kenny McIntosh led them in rushing with 65 yards, so they didn't run the ball hardly at all. And
I mean, after a while, you can see they started bending the run. And they had to because 16 they down 16-6
yeah,
at half.
I mean they run the ball for 170 yards, which doesn't sound bad. But when you're talking about a Georgia team that doesn't throw the ball, they couldn't throw the ball in this game at all.
No, they couldn't.
Bowers, who's a very good player, their tight end, led them in receiving with 66 yards.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do anything throwing the ball either. I mean, his numbers look okay, the 312 yards, but not when you're throwing the ball 44 times.
Yeah. Well, I got him. Throwing 43 times. I got him at 24 for 43. That stat line is not good enough. It's just not.
I had
just over 50%.
I mean, I had 24 for 44. The stats that I got.
Okay, so
either way, it's not good enough. And
yeah,
again, if you're going to throw the ball 40 times, you got to score more than 26 points, and you got to throw for more than 300 yards.
Yeah.
He didn't make enough plays. The Missouri's defensive backs played really good in this game.
Correct.
They did. They played a little zone. They played man when Georgia would put their tight end outside. Then they played man and let the linebackers kind of chip them out. But Bowers is still had a solid game.
Yeah,
the kid's really athletic. But again, your tight end leads you with 66 yards receiving. That's not good enough. So
yeah. 3 turnovers. They had a lot of drops, a lot of penalties. They was looking like they were a lesser team. Number 1 team right now, but they didn't play like it. Let me see. Who do Georgia play next? I think they got a big. They might have been. If I'm not mistaken, I think they play a pretty good team next week. This week coming up. Let's see if I have it here. I don't have it here. They play Auburn. It's not that bad, but still, they got good games coming up. Right after Auburn, they got Vandy. They got Florida, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky, who's ranked 13 now. We're gonna get into them, and then Georgia Tech. I just think that they gotta clean this up. And hey, this is a good time for them to be able to do something like that, but they can't be doing that to Missouri, man. For real.
No, well, luckily for them, they did get the win though. But when they're going to kill Auburn. Auburn stinks.
Right? Yeah. That's why I was just like, I thought they played somebody good. And did. Yeah. I was just like, never mind.
Then they play Vandy, which Vandy's a solid team, but they should still be. Yeah.
Correct.
But then they play, November 5th, they play Tennessee, and the 12th, they play at Mississippi State. That could be the season for it right there.
Yeah. So
if they find their way through them games, they'll be okay.
Yeah. And, like I said, I guess it was a mirage. The first game they played was Oregon, and everybody was like really high on Oregon, and they beat them 49-3, which was very, very. I don't think anybody in the country would have said they would have beat them like that.
No, I think that you had Oregon was like new coaching staff, probably trying to get their feet underneath them, and Georgia jumped on them. And yeah, man, Georgia's still a good football team.
Yeah,
you just got to work out some things with their offensive line and find more players at wide receiver that can make plays for them.
Yeah, but like I said, the first 3 games, one of them was Sanford. Okay. But the other one was South Carolina, 49-3, 33-0, and 48-7. You're looking at the offense as like, man, they are scoring at will, blah, blah, blah. The last 2 games, they give up 22 points. And the game against Kent State, they only scored 39, and this one 26. So they're kind of going on a downward slope. I hope they keep it up because they are the number 1 team, and we want them in the playoffs. So they don't need to be messing up. But last week's game was very scaresome. And then let's get to our next topic, Ray. Is Levis still number 1 pick? First round picks, excuse me. So, in the beginning of the season, Levis was one of the guys that, a lot of analysts were talking about as a first round pick. Looked very good. He had the size, he had the arm, blah, blah, blah. Is he still a first round pick? It's a team game. They did just lose their game against Ole Miss this last week. What's your take on Levis, man?
I see a kid who's got talent, obviously. Yeah. I don't really know if I would take him. If I were going to take him, I would take him at the end of the first round anyway. Yeah. And I didn't see him as being as rated as high as some people did, but there was a lot of buzz about him being a top 15 pick this year before the season started. Because he looks the part and he has talent. But this game he turned the ball over a little bit too much, and I probably wouldn't take him in the first round right now.
Hey, okay. So did he fumble? Was he fumbling? Oh yeah.
No, he did fumble to lose a game. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So ball security is a big deal, and it seems to be a little bit of an issue for him. But there is upside there, and we know it's a quarterback league, man. Someone will take him early.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at his passing stats, they actually look good. 18 for 24, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns. But like Ray said, he fumbled the ball to lose the game, and you can't do that in a tight game like that. You have to have that ball security, and if you're gonna be that guy, you have to be aware. Throw it in the dirt if you have to, but don't take the interception. Don't take the fumble at that point. Most coaches will rather you throw interceptions than throw fumbles. Get fumbles or fumble the ball rather, because at least in an interception scenario, you're giving somebody a chance. Where if you're fumbling near the goal line. The line of scrimmage usually, and giving the ball a lot more closer to them getting a score. So, my take on him, I'm still not, like you said, mid to late round, first round. If I'm going to do that, I would like to still kind of look at his productivity first and look a couple at game tape a little bit more before I take him out of first round. But from what I'm seeing and hearing, I still wouldn't doubt him too much because he's still a good player. Like you said, right? Maybe end of the first round at point. Definitely a second round. If I see him in the second round, definitely will take him. But I think that it's kind of unfair to straight up just drop him out of the first 2 rounds at this point because I do see there's a lot of upside with him. I do see that.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would happen.
Usually, say again?
I really don't think that I could see a scenario where he doesn't get taken the end of the first round. Because you see traits there, and how coaches fall in love with guys like that. So,
man, if Blake Bortles can be in the first four picks of the draft, love it. Love it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, also the ball security is a good point because you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
So we can't have you fumble. It was a weird one though. It really wasn't where he got hit. He went to throw the ball, and the guy actually just hit the ball before he got to pull his hand forward.
It's still
no. You gotta hold the ball, man. Hold the ball.
It's still forward. You gotta just know people are around me. Let me get the ball out quicker and stop winding up. So
correct. That's
It's still full awareness. You still need that, get that down. And I do think that's teachable, right? That's something that is
part of it is. Oh, absolutely. People can teach you how to be more secure with the ball in the pocket.
Exactly. So that's stuff like that. That's why I don't knock him too much on if he was throwing interception, that's more of a mental kind of thing. And even then you can kind of teach that. But if you're let's say he's just not good at reading coverage, or let's say he's throwing in double coverage a lot and stuff like that, that's a little bit more harder to teach.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that he has a lot on his shoulders though too, man. Mm-hmm. They depend on him to be very good, and he usually is pretty good, but it wasn't a great team.
And overall the team is not that great, honestly.
It's not a great
he makes that team as good as it is. Really.
Yeah, it's not a great team.
Yeah. So I mean, with all that being said, Levis is, for somebody that is kind of carrying the team, again, stuff like that kind of plays into my evaluations of a player. So again, I wouldn't say he's out of the first round. I know some people are jumping off the bandwagon already, but I would say that watch more tape, see how he does the rest of the year, evaluate it at that point, but I wouldn't jump off too quick with that. That's just my opinion.
No, I mean, we talked before. You guys will fall up and down depending on how they play from week to week. We'll see.
Correct. Yeah. No, exactly. And sometimes some guys are gonna have bad games. It just happens. It happens in the NFL. It happens everywhere.
Correct. So quarterback position is still a very hard position to play.
Correct.
The odds are on you on every play, so we'll see.
I agree. All right, let's get to the rest of the week. All right, we're gonna get to the rest of 2000. We're gonna get to the rest of week 5 right now. So, Oklahoma State versus Baylor. Um, we both picked Oklahoma State in this one, 26-25. Oklahoma State beats Baylor. How you feel about this game, Ray? It was a pretty close game.
It was actually a nice game. I mean, I pretty
Yeah.
much went how I kind of saw it. I think
Mhm.
Oklahoma State is a more talented team, but
Yeah.
Baylor is one of them teams that got some nice players. So
Yeah.
I like Blake Shapen, their quarterback. I think he's a solid player. He did have 2 turnovers over in this game, but again, I think that Baylor is a solid team. They're not quite as athletic as Oklahoma State, though.
No, and I totally agree. And Baylor definitely started off the game way too slow.
They did.
Yeah. So Nixon with that 98-yard kick return definitely helped them out. Oklahoma State, and that's great way to start off the second half.
I mean, if you look at Spencer Sanders, he didn't have great numbers 20, 29, 180 yards, a touchdown, and he did have a pick. But he also ran the ball for over 5 yards a carry and scored a touchdown that way, too. So, he's a nice athlete. He's a developing player. I like Spencer Sanders. Oh, good.
Yeah, and I agree. That's another reason why I've been on their bandwagon. Ray, you know how much I talked about Sanders the last couple of years, and it's a guy that I would love to see how he kind of progresses. A guy that I think people kind of sleep on him just a little bit, and I wouldn't mind picking up in like the 4th round of the draft. Somebody that you can maybe develop into like a. I hate to say it like this, but Jalen Hurts, I guess, somebody that's athletic, maybe he can, develop his arm a little bit more.
Well, I think he actually has a strong enough arm. I think his accuracy is a little bit of an issue.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah.
I mean, I think his arm is plenty strong enough. I think he's a really good athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I just think pick up maybe be a little bit more accurate. If he does that, I think he'll be fine. I mean, he'll play in the NFL. I don't know if he's going to be a starter or if he's going to be a backup, but he'll get a job somewhere.
Exactly. No, exactly. I think he's a good guy. So I like him a lot. I love to see how he does. He seemed like the perfect Senior Bowl type of player.
He does. You know what? It's going to be interesting to see if what coach he does go to, and then they can improve his accuracy.
Yeah.
Because there are times when he's good at it, but then there's times when he really kind of struggles, man. So.
No, I agree.
And I think part of the problem is he would like to go deep on every other play if he could.
Yep. So, no, 100%.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that in the right offense,
Definitely. All right, let's get to another game. This game I will claim as probably the game of the week. This game was a really good game. Wake Forest versus FSU. Ray, we said this last week. If you are looking at this podcast and you see me and Ray go against each other in a game, that should be a game you watch. This was a good game. Wake Forest is actually came out pretty good. It's 21-7 at the half. Florida State started kind of roaring back a little bit, but overall, I think it was a good game. There's no picks. I believe there was a couple of fumbles, if I'm not mistaken. Ray, what's your overall take on the game?
I thought it was a good game. It was really interesting. Of course, we were on opposite sides of it. I thought Florida State would win. They were a 7-point favorite, so I kind of thought they were going to win the game. But they do enough good things to think that they're good, and then they do enough bad things to keep themselves from winning. So it's kind of Florida State for the last 3 years. So,
I believe it said they fumbled a few times. Third down success, and it's something that we don't talk a lot about on this, Ray. But Wake Forest third down success was what did it say here? 41%, which is pretty good. And then FSU's was 31%. So 10% difference. So that means Wake Forest was staying on the field a lot more than
they were, and they pretty much ran the ball very well. Justin Ellison had 114 yards, average over 6 yards a carry. I mean, and Sam Hartman who's a nice little player. He is right now. He's one of the bright spots for that program. So I like them. I think that their defense played better than I thought they were going to in this game. They haven't played great defense this year, but they did against Florida State. And Florida State, again, does just enough little stupid things, bad holding calls, just things to keep you from winning games, so.
100%. So I'll say this, right? Mike Norvell. We were talking about him might be on the hot seat. You think that might be the case again? They're only 4-1. They only lost one game. If I think this actually might be the second game. They haven't been that impressive since the beginning of the season. Would you start thinking about it again, or kind of hold your horses right now?
I would hold up on that. You know how I am about. You don't want to get into a pattern of changing coaches too quickly, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you want a really good coach, what impresses those guys are when you give the other coach a chance and don't just blow them out of the water every time. I mean, if you're a decent coach, you want to go to Florida State if they keep blowing out coaches every other year. I don't. You know what I mean? So
no, I agree. Because I mean, they start off the season playing Duquesne. It's Duquesne. Then they play LSU, 1 point win. They play Louisville 35-31. The previous week they played Boston College 44-14, so they blew them out. But then they lost to Wake Forest. Again, this is a good Wake Forest team. They do play some heavy hitters the next couple of games. NC State. They got Clemson. The next two games. Down the line, they got Miami, a Syracuse team that's looking pretty hot right now. Could Syracuse beat FSU? I don't know. And then they end the season with Florida.
Again, if you want to be a good team, you just need to play better situational football than they play. Don't turn the ball over. Don't get stupid penalties. If they can just clean up the little things, though, there's enough talent on that roster to win. So Jerome is frozen up. I wasn't sure if you were frozen, Jerome, or if you were just sitting there not saying anything, but I guess you're frozen up. I don't know what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to keep talking about Sam. I like Sam Hartman. I think he's an athletic kid with a nice, solid arm. A little bit of the smaller side, not a big kid, but I guess Jerome will be back any minute here. I'm not really sure what's going on. So, now he's gone completely. That's not good. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over through the next game. I get LSU versus Auburn. Of course, LSU won the game, a close game, 21-17. Jaden Daniels was 8 for 20, which is horrible, but he ran the ball and scored a touchdown, like 60 yards. Josh Williams did a decent job running the ball, had almost 70 yards, averaged 4 yards a carry. Only 80 passing yards as a team. It's an ugly, ugly game, but they get an ugly win, which is always better than an ugly loss. So I'll take that. It's a shame if it is Robbie Asher for Auburn really wasn't much better, but he did go 19 for 38 for 337 yards. But I mean, 19 for 38 is like barely 50%, a little over 50% too. So that's nothing special. But he did get a nice chunk of yardage with everything, and he got.
Sorry about that, guys. My fault about that. My fault. What were we talking about?
I was actually talking about the LSU Auburn game since
Oh yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah. Real quick before we get to that, I told y'all about Wake Forest versus FSU by 10. Oh, you did say that. Okay, Remy, what's up? Okay, I like that. He said Hartman really had a really good game. Stood strong in the pocket and delivered throws. Yeah, I like him. He's really growing on me. Really, I wasn't sure about him to be honest to start off with, but he's really starting to grow on me. And this Wake Forest team is definitely. And my internet is going crazy. But yeah, I really do like him. I think he's definitely starting to grow on me. All right, let's get to the Auburn game. Again, I do apologize for that, guys. I'm in a new building, so still working out the kinks. Anyway, Auburn game. What were you saying about that, Ray?
Just said they played really bad. I mean, Robbie Ashford had a decent game. He was only 19 for 38, but he did throw for 337 yards, 2 touchdowns. They only had a little over 100 yards rushing the ball. No one had a great game. Wide receiver.
Hush.
Come on, man. It's just Auburn, LSU. There was a time when then teams would be like, that'd be like one of the best games of the day, and it just was like not a good game. So
yeah, no, right. I'll tell you this. This is the most unlikable 4-1 team I've seen all year, or for a while at least. This LSU team is so disappointing. Like, what's going on? Let's talk about their offense right now too. I mean, Ray, am I going to create? They must have these backwards. Yeah, hold on. My stats are all over the place. So this is saying that I'm confused. All right, so LSU only got 85 yards passing, right?
80.
Because the way I have this on here is crazy. That was LSU?
Yeah, 80 yards passing.
Okay.
He was 8 for 20.
80. Yeah, that is not good. Like,
nah, really?
JT Daniels, what are you doing? I mean, that's Jaden Daniels. I'm sorry. Yeah. Jaden Daniels, what is that, man?
It was ugly.
Not good. He was the one that got the start over their quarterback last year, who I heard was retiring, but I guess he's on a new team now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on what team he's on again? I forget. But yeah, it's bad. You can't have a offense, especially in today's offense.
I mean,
where you only doing 85 yards. Now, it was enough for them to win. So I guess a win's a win, but you just played a really bad Auburn team. I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but Auburn's not a good team. They came into the game 3-1, but that was a messy 3-1 at that also. I don't think Auburn even played anybody good except who was that? Clemson, I think it was. They just played. I'm sorry, Penn State. That's what it was.
Oh yeah. So yeah.
I mean,
they got beat up by Penn State though.
41-12. That was horrible. Yeah. Last week was Missouri 17-14 overtime win. I mean that's so. What's your take on LSU? Like why do you think they're playing like this?
I don't think their coach is great. I think he needs time to get his players in there. He's not. I mean, you're not going to hear anything good from Brian Kelly about me, dude, or from me. That's not going to happen. So I mean,
I was about to say, Ray, that's your guy though.
He was my guy when he coached my team. Absolutely. Brian Kelly did a good solid job at Notre Dame. He didn't do a great job like he thought he did. No, what Brian Kelly did is acted like every time they won, it was because Brian Kelly was a good coach. Every time they lost, it's because of his hands being tied because he had to coach at Notre Dame. Come on, man. Cut me a break. Yeah. I'm not going to go there anymore because it's water over the dam, as they say. I'm not worried about it. So I don't care, dude. Like
I hear you. It just
does somebody expect me to feel sorry for them? No.
No.
I mean, I think that by the time they realize that he's not good enough, they'll be 10 years into his job.
True.
At least 5.
Ray.
Well, at least 5. Yeah. Notre Dame is loyal to guys like that. Brian Kelly did a good job in Notre Dame. Did he have some down years in the beginning? He did. So I don't expect the LSU to be any different. I think he'll be okay. if he can get great athletes to go there, which other coaches have. So why wouldn't he be able to get some?
No, definitely.
You know, man, we're talking about Auburn that 4 years ago was like one of the best offenses ever in college football history. So it's not like they can't get players. Joe Burrow's a stud, man.
Yeah. And then that was a hard fall off, Ray. That was a hard fall off.
It's hard to follow a guy like that because Auburn. Funny. Do you remember when we first started doing the show? Was Joe Burrow's first year at Auburn? I mean, at LSU, and we were like, "Man, this kid has some upside. We'll see how he does." You know, we think he looks like he could be okay. And then going into that last year, his first couple games, he was really good. And we're like, yeah, man, this kid maybe, if he can get this offense to play at this level, maybe they can win a championship. And that's what winds up happening. So,
yeah. I mean, that was a rare situation. That was a really rare situation where a guy just bloomed so much within 1 year like he did. It was insane.
I mean, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, usually when that happens, there's not such a drop off. Like it was a big drop off between that year, the next year, and then the next year, and the next year after that. Usually you're able to at least build off of that because you start getting some better recruits in. You start saying, oh man, this offense, look at that. But then you got to think about also they lost their head coach. They lost their offensive coordinator. They lost, I think, their defensive coordinator too, if I'm not mistaken. They lost their quarterback. They lost one of their best receivers. They lost so many people on defense. That year, they lost everything. It was crazy. They lost everything, right? So,
they lost worse than that. They lost Justin Jefferson. They lost Joe Burrow. They lost Jamar Chase. They lost Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who people think, oh, well, he's really not as good. Dude, when he was at Auburn, LSU, he was good. Let's not kid ourselves. He was good at LSU.
Oh,
man.
No, he was really good.
He was very good. That's why he was a first-round pick.
100%.
But, I mean, that was a loaded offense, man. It was crazy how good it was. So when you lose that kind of talent, unless you're Alabama or Ohio State, you're just going to be a drop-off.
Or even Georgia. Even Georgia last year, they lost so much. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and their defense is going to be good because they're Georgia. But this year it's their offense that doesn't look as good, and that's what scares me a little bit.
I agree. All right, one last game before we get to our picks, and that's going to be Clemson or NC State. Clemson still 5-0. Still 5-0. Number 5 ranked team right now. They play NC State, another good team. NC State, that's their first loss. Let's talk about it.
Good game.
It was a close game. It was a good game. I think it was a close game. And go ahead.
Good game. I mean, I'm not surprised. It was a good game.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the games. We both had we did have Clemson, but I think we both said this is going to be a close game, and which it was. Clemson pulled out at the end. I don't like the fact that NC State only had 34 yards rushing though. That's not good. You cannot do that.
No, you gave
with that good defense like that.
Yeah, I mean, Clemson should have won this game going away. I mean, they pretty won by a pretty decent margin, but really, DJ's really didn't throw the ball that well in this game. He made some nice plays with his feet. He did, and he moves around well, and he's a good player. And we keep waiting for him to be more consistent. He hasn't, 2 weeks ago, he had a really nice week, and last week he was okay. You know what I mean? So
last week was probably his best game he ever had.
He was really good. His first game against Notre Dame, he was really good last year.
The first game of the season, actually wasn't impressed with him. I think that was the game that Klubnik actually came in and looked way better than him.
Last year, his first real start, or maybe his second real start against Notre Dame.
Oh, last year.
Really good in that game. Really good.
Yeah, he did.
And of course, he loses his job to and then he didn't play as well last year.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. So they played Georgia Tech in the first game. He did enough to win,
like this game.
He didn't look spectacular.
Right, like this game.
Yeah.
He did enough to look good and win the game, but didn't look He doesn't look like a star player right now. He just
Right.
does. You know,
And last week, he looked like a star. I mean,
he
they
did.
put up 51 points in that game, and they won double overtime. Defense was the problem last week, and we
Yeah,
said this last week too. It was like if this team can get it together on both sides, because they keep flashing brilliance on both sides. But every other game, it look like So if
yeah.
they can bring it together and finally put it all together, this team could be a really good team. It's just that they're so inconsistent with either side of the ball. So
I
it's
just,
like,
I think we were expecting a little bit of inconsistency on offense. We didn't
yeah,
expect the defense to struggle when like it has sometimes. I
I
think that's
mean
the
they
difference.
got ballers. I mean,
Yeah.
from Miles Murray, they got the linebacker Trent.
I mean, we're
Forgot
just
his name.
every level of
Simpson,
this
Simpson, Simpson,
Crimson.
Simpson,
Yeah, every level of this team, they have players.
Brees,
Yeah, I mean,
Ryan Brees.
yeah, they're good, but they just don't. They're not playing
Yeah,
great. They're not consistent on defense.
correct.
This game
Now
they
they
were
did look a lot better in this game. They
they
stopped the
did.
run.
Last week they were bad,
Forced,
and then the week before that they were solid. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So that's the part. I mean, again, right? It's just like they can't bring it all together. But hey, they're still undefeated. I mean, their next few games, they play FS. No, I'm sorry, play FSU in 2 weeks. Let's see. Oh no, this is their schedule. So next week they play Boston College. They play FSU. They play Syracuse. They play Notre Dame, Louisville, Miami, and South Carolina. With their remaining schedule, right? Are they going still? Do you still think they're going to be undefeated by the end of the year?
I think there's a shot they could be. I think they could lose. They could lose to Notre Dame. I'm not saying they will yet. We'll see, but they could. And there was one other game I said they could lose that game.
FSU, BC,
Mm,
Louisville, Syracuse,
Syracuse.
Miami, and
Syracuse
Syracuse.
they won't lose to, but that's going to be a good game, better game than people think.
I agree. I
Unless their
agree.
offense
Syracuse.
finds some continuity, that could be a tough game for them.
Syracuse
The
is looking good right now, right? Syracuse is
they
definitely looking
play
good.
good defense and they're running the ball, man. And when you do those two
Hmm.
things, you can win games or find
Yeah,
ways to keep game close.
I think Ray. I don't think they're gonna lose this the rest of the year, but one of these games they can slip up on, so they need to tighten up because all these teams that are coming up have some talent. I mean, not saying that the teams they play don't have talent. I mean, they played Wake, they play NC State, two teams that we like. And both games were close games,
Mm-hmm.
but the rest of their schedule they should win. I think they should, and they probably will. But they can't be so hot and cold because if they do, they're gonna slip up and somebody's gonna catch up to them.
Agreed. I just don't think there's no consistency in offense, and there's been stretches with games where the defense does not look great, and they're
I
not
agree.
getting turnovers on defense, which usually is something that Clemson excels at.
Exactly. I agree. All right. Let's get into next our prediction. So Ray, we are not tied anymore.
No,
And you got me by one. So, I put it wrong. That's what I wish it was. um, Ray is actually 15 and 19, and I am 29 and 20. I have it mixed up, so let me change that real quick. That's me wishful thinking, Ray.
yeah,
But
man.
Ray,
Honestly, Jerome, I do pay attention to my picks, but I don't keep
uh,
track of what the record is. I don't. So
okay, so yeah, and hey, we got actually good percentages, actually really good
yeah,
percentage.
no, they're
So
solid, man.
yeah, I mean, me and Ray's neck and neck, which I like it. That's cool. I love being neck and neck with you. You are one game up on me. From I had 3 weeks on you, and then last week we tied, and now you got me. So Ray's catching up, man. But hey, I love it because me and Ray is very good at doing this stuff. I love being competitive with him. because last year he was slaughtering me. I'm not gonna lie, he was slaughtering me. So this is fun. It's fun this time at least.
Yeah.
So I'm only down one game. This is definitely fun. So let's get into our picks for this week, man. This is what everybody wants to see, and this is what we're gonna give the audience. So let's get right into it, right? All right. Texas versus Oklahoma.
I got Texas.
Give me a second so I can get the
7 points is the line.
7. See,
Yep.
these lines be moving too much from Monday.
This one started at 6.5 and went up to 7. It hasn't moved much. I mean, Texas
it was
is a solid.
It was 6.5.
It was 6.5 on Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Ooh, I felt like it was closer. All right. Well, yeah, it is. I got 7 as well.
Started at
Texas
6.5.
is favorite, and Texas is away. Both 3-2. Ray, who you taking?
Well, I'm taking Texas.
I'm taking Texas as well. Oklahoma, they got some guys that I like there. And honestly, I think they're more impressive than I think there was going to be the beginning of the year. But I think Texas is the better team. This is the SEC future SEC game right here because both teams are going to the SEC this year. Next year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, next year.
2020.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I can say about them. Texas, I feel like they're a better team, better running game. Defense is good. I would like to see Oklahoma be a little bit more efficient through the air. But what's your take on that, Ray?
I agree with you. I think if you try to run the ball at Texas, you're having a hard time. They'll be able to run because their running back, Bijan Robinson, is a stud. I think that Oklahoma doesn't play any defense at all right now, so I can't have a hard time favoring them against a team that runs the ball the way Texas does. So
definitely. All right, next game. This line definitely changed. There's no way I picked this game. Or maybe I just picked it because of two good teams. Arkansas versus Mississippi State. I don't remember the beginning lines, but right now Mississippi State is favored by 9. They are home. 9.5. I'm sorry. Who you taking, Ray?
Taking Mississippi State. I mean, it's already at 8, and now it's up to 9.5. I mean, pretty easy to figure out. So
yeah,
Mississippi the winner. I mean, that seems pretty easy. So
yeah, I'm not gonna go again. I went against them last week. They played Texas A&M. I'm not doing it this week. So right now,
Mississippi State is a good play.
I do like Arkansas. Don't get me wrong.
I like Arkansas too. I think their quarterback's a good player. I think they score a decent amount of points. I just think that Mississippi State playing at home is a better team and a better play. That's all.
Yeah. I'm on a Mississippi State bandwagon at this point. They made a believer out of me. Will Rogers is doing really well, and it's doing really well with Mike Leach. I'm sorry, Mike Leach be saying some weird stuff.
Yeah,
I know this is not football related, but he be saying some weird stuff, man.
He's a strange guy, man.
But hey, he's a good football coach. He's doing.
Yeah, man. Not everybody is exactly straight. You know, there are some coaches out there that have their own personalities. You know, so
no, 100%. But yeah, he's saying some weird stuff. I'll be listening to some of the stuff he says. I'm just like, all right. Anyway. Next game, Tennessee versus LSU. LSU is at home. They ranked 25 now. Tennessee is ranked number 8. Who you picking in that one, Ray? Tennessee favored by 3. By the way, I'm sorry.
Ooh, I'm taking Tennessee.
I'm taking Tennessee as well. I don't like this LSU team. We just talked about them. Probably the ugliest 4-1 team right now. I don't care if they're home right now. I'm not taking that. Actually, I will move that line a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I will move that line a little bit more.
I think that should be more like a 3.5 or 4 point line at least.
I would go
right now. It's
5 to 5.5.
I wouldn't be if you do that though. Then no one's going to bet on either game or on either team.
No,
So.
I agree. I agree with that, but LSU's so disappointing, man. It just I don't know. Maybe just me with that.
I'm not disappointed. I'm happy, so I'm good.
Really, Ray?
Yeah, man. It seems like I'm petty. I am.
I was about to say, Ray. I was just about to say, there's a word for that, petty.
Yeah, I'm every bit.
Just about to say that.
I'm every bit, man. I don't like to say I hold grudges, but I do.
That's too funny. No, that's too funny, Ray.
Yeah, man. If you want to leave, it's like if you want to leave my team, that's fine. But you don't have to badmouth them going out the door. That's all. Period.
No, I agree. Purdue versus Maryland. Maryland is at home and favored by 3. It's a pick 'em.
That's a tough game, man. But I'm going to take the Terps. I like them. I think they're playing good football right now. It's a tough game against Purdue, but I want to give them a shot.
I agree.
Wow.
But I'm picking Purdue.
Okay. All right.
I think I like Purdue's defense enough to beat Maryland.
Okay.
I think that's where I'm at right now. Tua's playing good though. Tua's doing his thing. I like him. I really do. This is gonna be a close one.
He's exciting if nothing else.
Say it again.
He's fun to watch, if nothing else.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's definitely fun to watch. He got a little of his brother in him. I still think his brother's better. I'm not gonna lie. Still do think his brother's better. I know how you guys feel.
Not this week because one brother's going to be playing and the other guy's not. So.
Oh yeah, and rightfully so. That dude should not be playing. I might even take him out 2 or 3 weeks. Honestly,
he's probably not going to play for at least. Don't worry, I'm going to go off at the end of this on Tua.
All right. I'll say the reservation for you, Ray.
I just don't
definitely get that off.
I'm a Tua believer, but if you're not on the field, I don't believe in anything you do or anything you say. So,
no, I agree. All
it's
right,
football, man. Get rid of the ball.
Jeez, that was very, very, very scary. Ray. I mean, this is all right. This is not on our list.
I love the next team. I love the next one because you're picking this one, dude. You go ahead.
I actually was gonna say that for last. I was gonna say that.
That's fine. We can do that. That's fine.
But this line, I want to mention it real quick because I didn't see this before.
What's that?
All right, I am back, I think.
You're back.
Okay. I don't know how far y'all heard me, but I was saying this line is ridiculous, and I just wanted to mention it. So Cincinnati is favored by 27.5 versus South Carolina. I know South Carolina is 1-4, but are they that bad?
I'm taking Cincinnati.
I will hope so. But 27? I'm literally just scrolling down and looking for our game, and I just seen that 27 next to Cincinnati.
I don't even have that as a game we're playing, though, right? We're not picking that game, right?
No, we're not picking that, but I'm just surprised by that line. I'm like, jeez. Like, okay, I'll rightfully, admit I have not seen a lick or heard anything about South Carolina, South Florida, this year. But 27.5 years. Yeah, that's wild.
That happens, man.
Next game, Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. That line definitely moved a lot. Oklahoma State is favored by 9.5. They are home, right?
I'm taking Oklahoma State. We already know that, so
I'm doing the same. I will say though, I like this game. I like Texas Tech. I've been talking about them for a while,
Mhm.
so I do like this game. It's gonna be a fun game actually. It actually I kind of like this line though, honestly. Even though I'm saying this and I'm saying it's gonna be a good game, I think this might be one of those type of games that Oklahoma State will run away with it late and will actually hit that line. But this is I won't say this is not gonna be. I don't want people to thinking this is gonna be a bad game because that line is kind of over that high right now.
Mhm.
But also, I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those games where Oklahoma State start pulling away at the end. So keep an eye on this game. Keep an eye on the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan. I think they're a talented team. Yeah.
Correct. All right. Let's go to FSU versus NC State. Where's the line for that one?
I have NC State as a 3.5 point favorite.
And yeah, NC State at home, three and a half. So it's a pick 'em. Right? Who you got?
I'm
Oh
going to.
wait, three. You had 3.5. I had three. I'm sorry.
I have 3.5 this morning. So,
Okay, gotcha.
um, I have, I have, I have. I don't like that game, really. To be honest with you. I'm taking NC State though.
Okay, I'm doing the same. They've been playing teams really tough this year. They have been losing some of them. Actually, they only lost one, which I think was Clemson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they lost
Um,
earlier on. They
yeah,
they
they
played
lost.
well in the game, but they lost.
Yeah, exactly. And FSU, we were just talking about them. They've been winning. They've 4-1. Okay. I just think that their wins were so close. And NC State, and again, I see why the line is like this. I think they're pretty evenly matched kind of teams. Um, but also, I just think NC State's the better team. So
I think
I'm
that
on that.
because they're at home, and I mean, in college football, it's not as big a deal, but
Mhm.
it does matter a little bit. I'll take NC State. I mean, they're a more physical team. Florida State is just again they do just enough dumb things to lose games. So I'll take NC State over them.
Yeah, no, and I agree. Ooh, okay. We got our next game will be K State versus Indiana. I'm sorry, Iowa State. Sorry, Iowa State is home. But Kansas State is favored only by 2. So given that they're not home, what would you take right there, Ray?
I'm taking Kansas State.
Same. Um, yeah, K
Why
State.
wouldn't you?
I
They're a
again,
2 point favorite
one
in
of my,
an away field. So
yeah.
I mean,
I think
the
State
odds
they're a better
are
team. I I will say this: Iowa State is playing a lot better than I thought they were going to this year.
they're a better team than I thought, and their defense has played a little better than I thought, but not
Right.
against Kansas State. Kansas State does a lot of nice things on offense. I'll take them to win a close game. You know,
I agree. I agree. I like it. I like this game. This is one of them that is a good. This I think this is a good betting team or betting game for sure.
it would be. I'd be a little. I'd have to take Kansas State though,
Yeah,
because if you
hundred
win by a
percent.
field goal, you're in, and if they don't win, it'll be like a 17-16 type game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
24-23. Something like that.
Definitely. Notre Dame versus BYU. I like this game. I don't remember where the line was though.
Notre Dame's a 3.5 point favorite at home, so
At home.
I'll take Notre Dame, and hopefully, I'm a little leery of this game because BYU is a good running team and they're a good physical front and on defense. But I'll take Notre Dame in a close game at home, hopefully.
Definitely. I'm looking for my line. See if it's different from yours. Yeah, I got the same thing. 3.5. They're home. Um, this is a good game.
It should be a good game.
Yeah, well, should be. Your quarterback is back, right? Your starting quarterback.
No,
Oh,
no.
What's his name?
Tyler Buckner probably not going to play till maybe at the very end of the year, if at all.
Okay, so he's still out. Ooh.
Changes a little bit. It does. If Notre Dame can establish a run game at all, they'll be okay. And if they don't, they'll probably lose.
I'm sorry, Ray. I'm going BYU.
That bother me, man.
Yeah, you guys been so shaky this year, man, and
Agreed.
I've been on your side. I've been on your side the whole journey. I really have been, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I don't see it this game. I just don't. I kind of want to be on her side. I just don't.
Again, man, if Notre Dame's offensive line, if Notre Dame does better at offensive line or run blocks better, and they can find a run game, they'll be okay.
That's the big thing. And that's the big thing. If your offensive line, because your offensive line been
bad,
bad, and now y'all have your backup quarterback in. I think he only played 2 games so far.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be like, well, I mean, they ran the ball really well in the last game. They played North Carolina. North Carolina's defense can move with a stiff wind, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. That's why in our last, when we picked our last games, I took Notre Dame and you took North Carolina because you're like, well, North Carolina's playing good. They're good on offense, but Notre Dame's defense is not bad. There are problems mainly on offense where against a bad defense, they looked okay and they scored a decent amount of points.
Yeah, and I totally misjudged that, and kudos to you for seeing that. But yeah, this LSU team is different, man. And I understand you sticking to your guns with your team and still holding for them, but I don't know if I can.
Again, they're 3.5-point favorites. They're at home.
Yeah.
Again, if they can run the ball, that's the one worry I do have though, because BYU has a good defense up front, and they do some nice stunts up front. I don't feel great about the game, but I think Notre Dame could find a way to manage to hold off and win a close game. That's all.
No, I totally agree. I agree. I mean, I can see why you be stuck on that one. I really do.
I mean, if Notre Dame were a 2.5-point favorite, even a 2-point favorite, I may go the other way.
Yeah.
I think about it.
No, I get it. I definitely get it. It's a good line. It's a good line, I think.
It's a great line. You're going to get a lot of people betting on Notre Dame because people like to bet on Notre Dame, and you're going to get a lot of people to bet against Notre Dame because people like to bet against Notre Dame. It's exactly what you want. I mean, people always say like Notre Dame. For some reason, Notre Dame are treated like they're still a big time program, and to me, they are. But they have not won a national title in like 40 years.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard for you guys to do that, though. I mean,
35.
Because y'all independent thing is not helping y'all, and it's not just y'all fault, honestly, because it helps y'all in the sense of revenue and sticking true to what the school is, but at the same time, it doesn't help when you don't have a championship game, and then your ranking kind of like suffer from sometimes,
Well, it hurt them last year, and it's helped them in previous years because if they'd had a conference championship game last year and won it, they probably would have found their ways in their playoffs, but they didn't. Yeah. So people kind of forget about them, and other teams. Man, let's face it, other teams played better than Notre Dame last year. If you look at Notre Dame, they only lost 1 game. They lost to Cincinnati during the regular season. And then they lost to Oklahoma State in the bowl game, which was, again, you didn't know that was going to happen until it happened. But if you look at them, they were a good, solid team last year. But they didn't play a great schedule, and they took advantage of that. I shouldn't – Notre Dame always plays a good schedule, but there are teams that are down certain years, and they kind of – because they move out from conference to conference because they are an independent – they may get one of them other conference teams run on down seasons, like last year happened. That happened, except for Cincinnati. Cincinnati was having a good year. Yep. They won, and they had like early wins. They had a bad win against Florida State, the first game of the year, where they won, and then by the end of the year, people kind of forgot about that because they won the game, so it don't matter. You know what I mean? So, The one thing I will say about this, Notre Dame's never going to join a conference. It's not going to happen because there's not enough upside for it to happen.
Correct.
And in
and I agree.
In the late 80s and early 90s, when they wanted to move to the Big Ten, Michigan wouldn't have them. So they didn't get the deal. Facts, brother.
Yeah, I guess.
Penn State wasn't crazy about it either, but Michigan flat out said, no, we don't want you. Facts.
Gotcha. Ray knows his facts.
It's fact, man. They weren't doing the Big Ten for like 10 years. They were negotiating to do the Big Ten for like 10 years, and then Penn State was like, "No, we don't think so." Michigan said, "No, not at all."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ohio State and Michigan State wanted them in because they knew they could be big-time rivals. See, Michigan wasn't worried about that because they already had net games against Notre Dame all the time.
And I was about to say that's probably what it was.
Absolutely. It's all about money, man. It's not dollars and cents. It's pretty simple.
Yep. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get to our last two games real quick. Miami versus UNC, right? Who you got? Miami's favored by 3.5.
I'm going to take Miami only because, again, their offensive problems are offensive problems, and they're not going to have offensive problems because of no defense. So I'll take Miami.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. I'm taking Miami as well. Miami is supposed to be a lot better than they're playing, and I just think that they are a good team. They got a lot of talent on their team, and I just think they need to put it all together.
I think Alex Van Dyke has struggled the last 2 weeks. He will not struggle against North Carolina.
Definitely. I do like the line, though. I do think it's going to be a good game, though. I really do.
Oh, I think it'll be a high-scoring, good game, without a doubt.
I agree. All right. The last game, the game that we all was thinking about. Well, maybe me and Ray, maybe not. Yes. Utah versus UCLA.
First, bro. You first.
Ray, who you picking? Who you picking, Ray?
You first.
Right? Are you really gonna go opposite of me?
No, I'm taking UCLA.
I was gonna take Utah. I was really gonna take Utah.
Good. I like that. I got it written down. You got Utah. Well, UCLA is a 4.5-point favorite.
UCLA is a
4.5-point favorite.
No, I got Utah. I got Utah by 3.5 in their way.
Let me check, man.
You got UCLA.
Yep.
Whoa. Where you say you get your lines from?
I will tell you the website in 1 minute. I kind of check 3 of them.
Wow. I still have Utah. I believe they update this. Let me see if they have a update thing. They don't. You guys, as you guys know, I look at CBS Sports, so I get my lines from them. Me and Ray's lines are generally very close. This one is very different.
Way different.
Way different. I do still like Utah. Even despite the difference in the lines. I mean, that's so weird, Ray. Our lines are usually very, very close. If anything, it's usually like a half point or maybe 1 full point difference. Maybe 1 full point. This is completely different.
I'm still trying to get
maybe they know exactly. They know I'm about to pick Utah, and everybody else picked against them because they knew I was going to pick Utah. I like Utah again. I really hope I don't jinx them, Ray. I really do. I hate when I pick this team. It was too close of a game. I couldn't just pass it up. I've been avoiding them all year. They are 4-1 in the one game that I did. I did bet on them. They lost. They're one game this year, so I'm betting on them again. The Jerome curse is out there. I'm literally if they lose again, I'm not picking. I'm just sorry, Ray. We're not gonna pick or I'm just gonna push every time. I'm just gonna give you the points every time because I'm not gonna pick. I'm just not. Especially if I'm really am going with Utah, I'm not gonna pick them.
I don't blame you. I mean, you're gonna
literally if they lose again, right? It's literally been like almost 2 years.
I mean, at this point, Jerome, honestly, if you know any Utah fans, man, they may not talk to you anymore.
Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to get to any Utah games ever. And it's the thing. I like Utah though. That's the funny part about it. I really do like Utah, but I just cannot. I can't pick. I can't pick them. It's weird. But at least you're the opposite. You must feel really good about that game now.
Well, I'm going to check and make sure that I'm not wrong about the line, first of all, man, before I make a definite decision here. But I can't find it on anything right now. I have UCLA as a 3.5 point favorite.
Really? I'm gonna literally refresh right now, see what happens.
That's what I'm trying to do, but I keep getting kicked off for some reason.
Yeah, I still got the same line. I'm even gonna click into it.
You're right, Jerome. On this thing, I must have either I read it wrong or I copied it down wrong, one or the other. I have Utah as a 3.5 point favorite. I'm going to take Utah then.
Okay, all right, cool. I mean, hey.
I don't.
The game did not start yet. So
some people may say, "Well, you pick Notre." I don't pick Notre Dame every week. You know that, man. I don't pick Notre Dame.
You don't.
I mean, if the line tells me to take them, I take them. If the line tells me not to take them, I don't. I mean, I don't get into that wishy-washy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if the team's good, they're good. If they're not good, then we'll see what the line says. That's all.
I do take account into the lines. I really do, and I might seem like I'm opposite of Ray, and I'm really not. I go by the lines, and I do let that be a.
I go by the point spread and the money line. If the money line tells me to go with a certain team, then I go with that team. I don't really get into semantics about it. I don't.
Yeah, so. I kind of look at like, all right, how, and again, especially if it's close for me, and I say this almost every week, if it's close for me, even in the line is close, I'm gonna generally look at the quarterback first. That's like literally the first thing I look at. Who's their quarterback? How they've been playing, and then I kind of go, all right, that's the quarterback, and then I'll kind of look at, all right, how's that quarterback playing against this defense? How's this defense versus the quarterback? Then I look at the other side, how that kind of match up, and then I kind of make I kind of wager in from that point, especially if it's a push.
Honestly, Jerome, it depends on if I see a team that likes to throw the ball, and I know that the other team has a good secondary, I may sway my decision. If I see a good team likes to run the ball, and I see that the other team doesn't have a good defensive front, that may make me go to a certain team. I mean, that's why I took Notre Dame over North Carolina, because I thought their offensive line has really struggled, but defensive line, North Carolina is nobody. Linebackers are solid, but the line is nobody. So they would probably be able to at least find a push there and run the ball a little bit, and they did. This one, I'll be honest with you, I do like UCLA's up-tempo offense against Utah, which likes to sub their defensive backs and I'm sorry, their linebackers a little bit. But if it's 3.5 point line, man, Utah's playing at home, I'll take them again to probably win a really close, probably a pretty good game though.
No, I agree. I do like this game. I'm very curious to see this game. This one is going to be a night game, I believe. Oh, daytime game for us. 3:30 game. Yeah, man. I was hoping it was one of those night games. You know how we are. We love those night games, those West Coast games.
But I love night games, man.
Yeah, but it is a 3:30 game. What's our night game then? Let's see. Our night game is. Sorry?
Who does Michigan play this week?
Michigan plays. We do play a divisional. I know it wasn't Iowa. It was Indiana.
Ooh, that's a nice little game, huh?
Yeah, it's a solid game. I think it will still. I
Yeah.
think it'll be just as close as the other two divisional games. 10-point win for us. We're favored by 22.5. It's been like the last couple of weeks. We have not hit that line. There are lines the last couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
if you're a
I
betting
mean,
person, be careful with that line. I will just
yeah,
say
I
that.
mean, yeah, you
Um,
know what, though, Jerome? That's because Michigan wants to get a lead and then run the ball and kill clock, which
yep,
is, man, it's a
yep,
formula for winning, though. So I'm fine with
yep.
that.
Nope. I had no problem with it either, Ray. I really don't.
Yeah.
So Corum, I will say this: Corum is looking like a Heisman candidate. He's been playing out of his mind. I am kind of concerned
The volume
with
of carries
the
he's getting right now.
that.
I'm
Yes,
worried about
he's getting
that. He's
back.
getting a lot. He had 30
Literally
carries.
about to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have a really good backup for him. Now, I think the coaching staff is a little worried about him with his fumbling, which he fumbled a couple of times the last couple of games. So I think he's a little bit in the doghouse right now. But he did get a receiving touchdown last week, which is cool. He's gonna be a receiving back. And we knew that from last year anyway. But I just think that I would like for them to spell Corum just a little bit. Again, like you said, 30 carries. It's a little heavy.
30 is a little heavy. I would go more like 20, 25. Use the other running back a little bit, like, line them up in the slot, do some different things.
Donovan Edwards, that's his name. Donovan Edwards.
Yeah, and who's a really nice athlete, and he's got solid hands.
Yes.
So get him out in the flat, run some screens for him, do some stuff like that. Even maybe put Corum in the same backfield, and he just flex him out a little bit, just spread out the defense, get linebackers out of the way. I don't mind that.
Agree with that.
But I mean, that's not really Jim Harbaugh likes man-on-man power offenses, so
he does.
I mean, you got to be more adaptable than that when you have a guy like him that that can actually do some things out of the passing game. But I like Corum. I think he's a really good football player.
Yeah, I really do like him too. I just hope we don't run him into the ground because he did have an injury last year. I think his first year he got injured as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I am a little concerned with that. I really am because last year, hey, Corum got injured. It's okay. We still had Haskins. And again, as much as I like Donovan Edwards, they do have him in a little bit of a doghouse right now for fumbling. I am concerned with Donovan Edwards having to take the full reins right now, at least. I do like him in the future. Maybe he'll get it together and, be able to carry a load a little bit more. But right now, I will get very nervous if Corum gets injured. I really would.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly who calls all the offensive plays at Michigan. Is it Harbaugh or no?
No, Harbaugh gave up his play calling.
Who's calling plays for him now? Do you know that?
The offense coordinator is I can't tell you off top. Okay. I can't remember right now. That's one thing about me, coaching staffs in college, and I talked to you about this before.
Because some of them will come right to me. For some reason, Michigan. I mean, I guess maybe I assumed that Harbaugh called the plays. I don't know that.
I don't think. I think he gave up his play calling, if I'm not mistaken. I think he did that actually started last year. Let me see if I can give you that answer.
They have Sharona Moores and Mate Watts. I don't know either one of them guys, but that's who they have as offensive.
That's our offensive coordinators?
Yeah. So to me, Harbaugh is calling plays, and these guys are giving opinions.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know who those guys are. I'm a Michigan fan. I don't even know who those guys are.
I'm going to assume they're assistants that Harbaugh brought with them. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
That they're probably guys that are idea guys, and Harbaugh calls the offense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I think that could be a problem though, because you need to expand your offense a little bit more than Jim Harbaugh. But I don't have a problem with Harbaugh. You know that. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
I think when his offenses do play power and they're good running the ball, that's the Jim Harbaugh at his best. So I'm fine with that. I just think you need to expand it because Donovan Edwards is a good athlete, and you got to find a way to get the ball in his hands. So
correct. I will say I am impressed what they've been doing lately with some of the end arounds, some of the kind of trick kind of plays. I like what they're doing on offense. What I will say is that I would like them to play, and Avery kind of said it last week that we had a weak schedule, and again I won't say it's a weak schedule. It's not like a outstanding schedule or whatever. Um, but I would like to see them play somebody a little bit tougher just to see how he adapts. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To certain things because last year they did very well with adapting, changing things up. I want to make sure that he's still on that because again, this year I don't think he had the opportunity to really show him being able to adapt to what defense are throwing to him. So I definitely say that. Real quick before we get off, I do want to mention one game, Texas A&M versus Alabama, and a lot of you guys are gonna be like, it's Alabama, number one team right now, blah blah blah. Yes, but from reports that I'm hearing is that their starting quarterback Bryce Young might not be playing. He had some lingering issues. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is. So Ray, right now they still favor by 24. Do that concern you at all?
No.
It's just simple. No.
No.
Go ahead.
I mean, honestly, they play Georgia. They don't play Georgia this year, do they? Alabama.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I mean, that to me, that's a joke. But you don't got the two best teams in the conference playing each other during the season. I mean,
they don't.
No, we'll have to pay like $300 a ticket. I'm sorry, $400 a ticket later on to watch it down the road, right? So whatever. I mean, I don't really care because I'll watch it on TV anyway, so no matter to me. But I mean, they have Jalen Milroe. It's a quarterback that came in and spelled him last week. Mm-hmm. And the kid wasn't great throwing the ball. I mean, but he is very athletic, and they'll be fine until they get to play like a real team. They'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, he had a 77-yard run. I mean, so yeah, athletic. Yes. He did go 4 for 9 and 65 yards. In a touchdown.
But he had a touchdown. He didn't turn the ball over. Alabama ran for like 300 some
and
yards.
You know what? 317 yards. I was just about to say that. They're gonna run. They're gonna run, and they're gonna keep running because that kid Gibbs, I like him. We said it before the season started. I'm actually. No, I'm not gonna say happy because that's wrong to say a quarterback injured and stuff like that. But this do allow Alabama to get a chance to use their running game like they used to do because you have a guy Bryce Young, you're gonna want to throw. That's your quarterback. He's really good. He's very talented. But now that you have your backup in, get back to what you know, and that's running the ball. Gibbs is there. I really like Gibbs. I think he hasn't been given the ball enough, honestly. So it's an opportunity to see how he does. And then when, what's the name come back, hey, be a more balanced team, I guess. So
I mean, if you look at Monroe, he averaged 15 yards a carry and scored a touchdown too. I mean, so he had 91 yards on 6 carries. So he's extremely athletic. So again, if you run some option stuff with him, he's going to make the run game better, and then Bryce Young will get back and healthy when he gets back healthy.
See that? That's what they're gonna do a lot.
Yeah.
RPO.
There you go. Yes, sir. I mean, Alabama is not going to have any problem winning games. I mean, they haven't played great football yet, and they're still winning games. So.
Yeah, Remy says Georgia. I think he's talking about who they play. They don't play Georgia this year.
They don't play Georgia. So, they don't.
I just gotta speak about them. What you want to say about Georgia? Remy. Missouri let them off the hook. Oh, yes. We did talk about that earlier, Remy. I guess you missed it. Yeah, we discussed that. Georgia's offense did not look good in that game. Missouri is not a good team. I just say that. They're not that good of a team. So for Georgia to allow them to be in a game like that was very surprising. It's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, Georgia has not played consistent football either, and their offense
Yeah.
is right at this point is not great. So, I mean, I'm not a fan of their quarterbacks. Their quarterback, I mean, again, Stetson
Yeah.
Bennett played well last year down the
Sorry.
stretch and did a solid job, but
Yeah.
not a fan. I am concerned with the lines on both sides of the ball. I am. They still have playmakers there, but they don't have the consistency or the depth they had last year.
And that's we talked about this. The inconsistency on the defense is defensive line is crazy. Like you would think, I mean, yeah, they lost a lot of guys, but they have some good talent over there. The inconsistency is just weird. Like,
Well, they're good, but they're still young and they're still learning a little bit.
Yeah.
You can't.
I like the secondary though.
Their secondary is good. Georgia's secondary is good. That's why you see teams trying to find a way to run the ball so they can take shots when they have a shot down there to take. But right now, I mean, and Georgia's not good. They're not good enough at offensive line either. So
I think that's what it is too. Because
when they do play Alabama, they're going to get smoked.
Yeah, because honestly, I still think Georgia's defense is really, really good. But if their offense is not as good, because we're thinking, listen, if Georgia had the defense they had last year, this wouldn't even be a question because their offense will be good enough. But they're not good enough now because the defense is not as good as it was. Like that defense was dominatingly good, like historically good kind of defense. So when you have an offense that are doing enough, it makes the offense look better. But now they're kind of getting exposed now because the defense is not as good as it was last year. So that's just my take on that.
Yep.
Missouri was giving their offensive line problems, man.
They were. Their offensive line is not good, Georgia. It's not.
Yeah.
Missouri does have a nice defensive front, though. There are some good athletes for Missouri. They're an athletic group. They just don't have depth on the second level and third level on that team. So,
Yeah, we definitely talked about that before too. So definitely. Yeah. All right, guys. Remy, I do appreciate you being in here. I appreciate Avery and everybody else being in here. We are about an hour and 30 almost. So great conversation for sure. Before we get off, because I do want Ray to get his chance. Let's do this new segment called Ray Rants. Let's go, Ray.
Okay, well, I'm not. This is not about college football, so I'm just going to tell everybody, I am a Miami Dolphins fan. I have been a Tua a supporter. Have I drum noses? Have I always been worried about his him being injury prone? I have been, but I hear a lot of people killing the Miami Dolphins this week for playing in a game that he wanted to play in. I don't agree with the fact that they should have played him. They shouldn't have not have played him, especially 4 days after it looked like he was really injured fairly bad with a hit to the back. I know, and I'm not going to debate if it was a concussion or not because I was told by medical people that it wasn't a concussion. So when I have their degrees, then I'll question what they're saying, okay? But he obviously was unable to stand up for a few seconds there. So to me, he definitely shouldn't have played the next 4 days later. So I'm going to go with that. But, people have been talking about, Tua shouldn't, man. The only reason Tua is out there on the field is because of all these talking heads that act like he can't play now. And he thinks he has something to prove. So, Stephen A., why don't you go away, go back to covering basketball and stay away from football, okay? Period.
Thanks.
All of them. They all sit here and act like every week like they change their mind the way I change my socks. The way how these players play. Tua's only on the field because of guys like that. Now they're going to criticize the Miami Dolphins because Tua was on the field. All right, so
I will chime in to the last point you said, Ray, because I don't want to make this a whole thing. Before I do that, Remy says Stephen A. knowledge in all sports besides basketball is questionable.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
I want to chime in that last point. We were just praising Tua 2 weeks ago when he
Correct
had
beat
that
Baltimore
comeback game against Baltimore. Literally the week after that, we're questioning him. Yeah, I agree with the roller coaster, and as far as
it
it's
is
like literally week to week basis.
it absolutely is. And here's the thing: like I think like the third pass he threw in the game, he underthrew Tyreek Hill by like 15 yards, at least 10, and everybody saw it. I saw it too. I've been watching the Dolphins for a very long time. I saw it. Right then, I'd have been like, Tua, come here. Dude, you're not throwing the ball like you were 2 weeks ago. Are you okay? And if he says, well, my back's, I'm getting him out of the game. I got that. I'm fine with that. I want Tua to succeed. He's not going to succeed unless he's playing at least 90%. And 80% Tua, 70% is not that much better than Teddy Bridgewater. Definitely. So, I mean,
go ahead.
But I will say this. Tua needs to have a good year for Miami to commit to him again. So that's, again, why he's out there. And the funny thing is, I love the fact that Remy, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that Stephen A. Smith only knows basketball. It's not really hard to figure out. Plus, I think I told you this before, Jerome, I like Stephen A. Smith. I have met him several times.
Yeah.
He used to live in an apartment complex I used to work over in Voorhees. And I literally used to talk to this guy every other day about basketball. And he really knows basketball. He really does. But when he talks about other sports and he just goes on these rants, I mean, he might as well be Skip Bayless.
I will say this. One of the greatest quotes I've ever heard was when Stephen A. said that Sean Merriman was playing for the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean,
started like 3 years ago. No, it wasn't 3 years ago, but at the time, I think it was like 3 years ago when he said that. Oh my god, I was like, I caught it right away. I seen that live. I don't watch him live all the time. When he said that, I seen him say that live on TV, and I was like, "What?" I was like, I had to like, I literally went online. I was like, "Did anybody else catch that? Was I the only one?" And he was getting destroyed online, so that was funny. Remy says, but I will say the crew needs to be investigated. But he wants to know how you feel about Teddy Bridgewater as a backup.
I think he's a very solid backup. But now Miami's scrambling to find, another backup for him, and we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are in good hands, and I would not, for any reason, and I might even keep him out even longer. I would say that I would keep Tua out at least 2 weeks, just to be 100% sure. Make sure he's good. You do have an extra.
Good.
What's that, Ray?
I would be surprised if he plays this month.
I was just gonna say.
I don't think he'll play again until at least November. I don't. I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't want him out there until he's 100% healthy. And that's all there is to it.
Remy, I'm not gonna repeat exactly what you said, but who's Mad Dog?
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is either.
Remy, I'll be 100% on this. I have stopped watching ESPN for a while now, honestly. It's I'm not going to bad talk nobody, so I'm not going to say what I was going to think. But
I will listen to the NFL Network in the morning. But when it comes to football, I don't listen to ESPN for nothing. They're too clickbaity.
Yeah,
I don't need that.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. I'll say that. YouTube Mad Dog in the morning show. If you want to rip your hair out and roll your eyes, I know a guy named Mad Dog.
Is he the
And
guy
yes,
that
he's
used to
from
be in New
YouTube as
York?
well. Is he the guy that's a Giants fan?
Yeah, it sounds like the same
exactly.
guy.
Ray knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, well,
might
they're
be
all.
the same guy. Remy, let
Well,
us know if that's the
I'm
same
not a
guy.
fan. Yeah, again, I don't. Man, I just don't think that everybody should cover football. I just don't, because I don't know. I just think it's like, for one, when you can premise everything by saying, in my opinion. Well, in my opinion, you shouldn't be talking about football. But they all say that all the time, and then this way, if they're completely wrong, well, it's their opinion, so it's not wrong. I mean, so I don't know. I don't follow it. Like I told you before, Drum. There used to be 7 Miami Dolphins podcasts that I used to listen to. Now I listen to 2, and only 1 consistently, because the other ones are all idiots. I mean, they are. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
Worst part is that guy had a AP vote. What?
Yeah, I mean,
He
that's the
does?
worst thing about it. Like, yeah, that's the joke of it. These guys that don't know, they shouldn't be even covering football, but they're deciding on who's going in the Hall of Fame. That's why it takes 10. That's why it took Kent State for 30 years getting Hall of Fame.
Remy, you're really talking about the YouTuber Mad Dog, the New York Giants guy.
That's who I think. That's the only guy I know with that nickname.
Same, Ray. Really, yeah. Honestly, Ray, same. Yeah. If that's the case, whoa, we in trouble.
You know what, man? I like.
I'm sorry to say that.
The shame of it is, like, most of the guys, a lot of the guys that vote for football, Hall of Famers, a lot of them are good guys. Like Ray Didinger voted on a Hall of Fame football guys forever, but. I mean, you're talking about like maybe the best football writer in the country for like 30 years. So,
Remy, that's crazy. He said yes, it's the guy that writes.
It really is sad. Well,
that's crazy. On that note, we're gonna end it today. Like I said, we're a little bit past hour and 30. I don't think we've ever been this long. But we do appreciate it, man. We appreciate you being in here, Remy. We appreciate everybody that's watching and did watch or is going to watch on the replay. We do appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe on that YouTube channel, that QR code right over there, right on the right. Make sure you hit that. Make sure you follow us on all our social media, on Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, yeah, man. I got a first shot that time, Jerome.
Appreciate it. Yeah. You got it.
Usually I got it almost like the first time this time. There you go.
You're on it, Ray. You're on it. Do apologize for my internet. It's been kind of weird today, but we're working through it. But please make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification button so you do know when we live, so you can put your comments in here. Like Remy, again, we do appreciate you in here. Remy, Avery was in here earlier. We do appreciate you as well. Don, where you at, man? I hope you're still there, man. We've been missing you the last couple of weeks, man. They've been
maybe because we didn't do a show last Wednesday, kind of forgot about us.
That's true. He disappeared. I'm gonna have to hit him up. But we do appreciate everybody that's in here. And Don, if you are in the replay, definitely put your comments in here later on, man. And anybody else, I want to put their comments in here. If anybody wants to, ask about a game or some betting odds or whatever, pick'ems, whatever, let us know. I mean, we'll try to help you up as much as possible. I think me and Ray have been very informative with it, and we try to put our best opinions in there as much as possible. So, yeah, man, me and Ray's prediction has been, going back and forth, and I love it. It's great, man. So, again, guys, thank y'all for being in here. Make sure you like and subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff, all that good YouTube stuff, man. It definitely helps and supports us. So, thanks once again. I'm loving that Ray Ranch, man. We're gonna have to do that each week. We're gonna definitely do that each week.
Well, I would rather keep it about college football, but right now there's not enough really competitive games going on to give college football.
I hear you.
And I am a Dolphins fan, and I've been hearing I try not to listen to the Dolphins stuff, but I get a little bit crazy when people know that Tua is in a bad situation because he needs to have a good year. He does, and He's not going. His thought process is, I can't do anything if I'm not on the field. So, yeah.
Exactly. No, and I agree. So, wish him luck, man. Wish everybody luck. I hope we have a good football weekend, man. I hope y'all enjoy everything. What you was about to say, Ray? Real quick.
No, I just think that I think there's some decent games this weekend. There's actually some really good NFL games this weekend, so we'll see what happens.
NFL games are definitely going to be hitting. So make sure to check out the Aired Out podcast. Should be on tomorrow night. So hopefully those guys will be on, man. I've been missing their shows because I've been doing a lot. I'm going to a lot of games. I'm actually going to a football game tomorrow and Friday. So make sure you check us out on Inside the Hashes. Check out all the games that we're going to, the photos and stuff like that. I'm loving these high school games, man. If you're into high school football, definitely check us out. We're doing some great stuff, especially on Twitter. So, again, guys, thank y'all so much for checking us out. We see you next week. Have a good one. Stay safe out there and enjoy some football. Peace.